Welcome back, everybody. It's finally time to make another episode of the engines of Puerto Rico. It's been a while since I've done this, and I really want to talk about some more engines. I was looking and wondering which topic to bring about. Should I talk about the Chiva Loca? Should I talk about our big boy locomotive? Not the one you think, but that'll be another topic for another video. I was looking for topics. That's when I was looking into my book, and I remember a steam locomotive that I didn't really know a whole lot about, just a tiny bit. That locomotive being nicknamed La Quinta. So in today's video, I'll be talking about La Quinta. Let's start with the history. La Quinta was a 260 Mogul built by the Baldwin Locomotive Works in 1925. She was originally built as a 30-gauge locomotive but was later converted to meteor gauge. And now let's go into some specifications. Her serial number was 58,417. She had Stephenson's valve gear, a driver wheelbase of 7 feet, the engine weighed 23 tons, and the tender with loaded weight weighted at 16.75 tons with a total weight of 39.75 tons. Her total water capacity was 1,500 gallons. Her driver diameters were 33 engines, 145 psi boiler pressure. Her cylinders were 11 by 16, and she had a tracted effort of 9,225 pounds. Wow, with this time we actually had a tracted effort for a steam locomotive over here. Neat. At the time of her construction, the mill was owned by the Roig family, and La Quinta, which at that time was still known as engine number 5, was Antonio Roig's, one of the family's members, favorite locomotive, hence why they named her La Quinta. Little is known of what she did during the 40s and 50s. However, we can presume it was probably just sugarcane work, as she was owned by a central with other 8 locomotives, which unfortunately we do not have pictures or much information at all. However, somewhere around the 60s or so, she did end up abandoned with other locomotives at the mill, that being Ferrocarril del Oeste number 7, which was another 260 Mogul, and the famous Puerto Rican steam locomotive Ferrocarril del Este 11, aka American Railroad Locomotive 88, which still stands today in the Museum of El Tren de Isabela. What's interesting to know about is that during this time that she was abandoned in the mill, she was bought by the Cavernas of Camuy, which for those who don't know is just a famous place over here in Puerto Rico. However, they had plans to open a locomotive museum. That's where they bought 88 along with a boxcar, a rail speeder, a chicken car, yeah, that's really all I know, and some other stuff. What's interesting to know about is that when 88 arrived, he brought La Quinta's tender, but La Quinta was nowhere to be found. You see, strangely, she disappeared during this time. The Cavernas had bought both La Quinta and 88 around this time, but La Quinta had mysteriously disappeared. No one knows what happened to her, and it was presumed that she was scrapped. That was until in 2020, when in a random neighborhood, they found her just laying in cement with other rusting parts, where she's now currently running away. As you can see by these pictures, there's not much left of her. All that is left is just the boiler, domes, well, one of the 3 domes that was there, and the wheels and pistons. And unfortunately, just like 88, her smoke box door is gone. Geez, that's like a very common thing over here, where the smoke box doors are just gone on steam locomotives. I don't know why that's a common thing. Unfortunately, no one has done absolutely nothing to save her. But there have been attempts, the most famous one being about Victor, the owner of the Museo del Tren de Isabela. It has been known for a while now that he has tried and fought for it to get it, but the owners won't budge. But now, since he now owns La Quinta's tender, he's trying really hard now to try and get La Quinta, and from understanding, he even has some help from the department or the government trying to help him get La Quinta, which is really cool. But nonetheless, it's very interesting that out of nowhere, 50 random years later, she just appears in the neighborhood like nothing happened. It's kind of funny to me, I don't know why. Speaking of La Quinta, let's talk about her tender. So as I mentioned, the tender went with 88 to the Cavernazo Kamui, where it just sat below the parking for years. This is a picture of when it was there. As you can see, it's in really bad shape. Thankfully though, around early 2023 or so, Victor finally, after almost like 15 years of fighting for it, he finally got the tender and was put in the museum and is now currently being restored, as you can see by these pictures. Victor's trying really hard to bring back the tender to its former glory, and I know he will, considering the work he did on 88 and how it looked like, and the same goes for 8. Like, look at these two. Tell me these were beyond repair, and look at them now. They look like brand new. It's insane how much Victor has done for them. So if he can do that for these two, then I certainly have hope for La Quinta's tender. I just hope that they really give him La Quinta, because at the moment, she's not doing anything. No one's gonna see her, she's in poor shape, and for all we know, she could very much be scrapped very soon. So I really hope that Victor can get La Quinta. And that is La Quinta's history. A short one, I know, but a very interesting one nonetheless. I've known about this locomotive for a couple of years now. I knew it since it was discovered in 2020 in the random neighborhood, but I never really delved into the history of it, and now that I have, I'm very surprised of it. I can tell by just the looks and stuff like that she was a very hard worker and an engine loved by the family she was owned. I mean, she was the only engine of the entire Central to have a nickname. All the rest 8 engines don't even have pictures or names. La Quinta is the only one we have pictures and was given a nickname. And she's famous for it too, at least to us Puerto Rican railroad nerds. Yeah, she's not very known for over here. But hopefully, just like 88 and 8, if Victor does manage to get her, I do hope she gets the fame that 88 and 8 do get now. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode. I know it's been months since I done an episode of this. That was because I had a couple of problems with some of the videos I was putting on, but now it's all cleared and I can finally go back to making more and it's Puerto Rico. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.